Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Cuckoo! 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 Let's go. It's 9 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock. Aunt Maggie's show is on. It's 9 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock, and Aunt Maggie's show is on. Spread the word, spread the word, spread the word, spread the word, spread the word. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, family. How's everyone doing today? Hello, family. Spread the word as you coming in. Please like, share, and comment. Elaine, how you doing, my love? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Cuckoo, cuckoo. It's 9 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock. At Maggie show is on. One day I'm going to make this as a show. Like, I'm going to bring people for interviews. And if you want an interview, go ahead and hit me up, because I know each and every one of us has a story that can be converted into a mindset. It can be converted into a class, because we all have gone through some difficult trials or tribulations. Am I right of that? Amen. Yes, I know I'm right. Everyone has the stories, each and every one of us. No one can come in here and say that their life has been perfect and at ease. No. Well, anyways, thank you, thank you, thank you. Please share the word. Hit that, click that button and share so we can spread the word, spread the word, spread the word, because this is my ministry. And my ministry is I would like to help each and every one individual who are suffering from some sort of anxiety, suffering from depression, suffering from addiction to approval or addiction overall, or just in whatever it is that you might need the help, and you grab a little value of something, you because you as well, everyone has their own ministry. We just never looked at it that way. I was reading a book, um and everything that we do, hey Elizabeth, everything we do is a ministry. I didn't know that. I wasn't aware of that. Just like I came across this book that states it's called From Panic to Power. How many of us live life to life? See, it says proven techniques to calm your anxieties, conquer your fears, and put you in control of your life. And the author name is Lucinda Bassett, author of Life Without Limits. Who will we become if we don't have the fear that overpowers us and gives us the control? Who will we become if we will no longer be programmed to thinking negative every time we try to do something? Who will we become if that is no longer part of us? If that can be removed out of the thinking process of your brain and into your heart, who will we become if we start to take the risk and take the leap of faith into doing something that it makes us feel happy, first of all, first and foremost, gives us joy, and it's our passion? Who will we become? And that brings me to this topic. All things are possible. How so? Look at me. I'm the biggest example. For 17 years, I've been taking this medication that's been ruling my life. And I said, I will never let go of it. I will never withdraw from it, because up here, I programmed myself to think that I would not be able to perform or do anything without it. Today's the third day of my announcement. I went down to a half, and today I took another half, because I'm going to take another a half for 3 days. But I just took it like I was all day without anything, just to see how far and how long I would be able to function. And can I tell you a secret? I was sleeping most of the whole day today. I really wasn't 100% in anything today, because I didn't have the strength nor the power to kind of do anything. So shout out to all of those who do it cold turkey. My hat goes out to you. This is something. Look at I just got out of the shower and I'm sweating. So, but these are symptoms and these are things that I must go through, and I have to start enduring. Like I have to say, detoxing is a lot of fun. Detoxing is good. It's good for me. The outcome is going to be magical. It's going to be magnificent, right? So, chapter 1. I'm studying this, and it's bringing me value, and it's changing the way I look at things. And so I said, why not bring it to my community and bring it to my family online so that they can start implementing, adapting, and adopting new skills to acquire and take and handle life. Because sometimes life, it just throws you curveballs out of nowhere, and if you're not prepared to take care of that, whatever it may be, then you can drown. You can drown in sorrow. You can drown in your tears, crawl up into bed and say, the F this. I don't want to deal with this. For a long time, I was curled up in my bed and I didn't want to deal with anything. Thank you, Elizabeth. Elizabeth says I am in her prayers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I've been asking prayers, light, and love throughout the whole week because of the decision that I'm making, for the drastic change that's happening in my body, because that's a shock. Anytime you take away something that you are used to every single day for your body goes through a shock. And sometimes in that shock, we must be careful because we don't know the reaction that can happen. You know what I mean? So I have to constantly keep taking my blood pressure to see that it doesn't go down, because this is something very tricky. This is said that it's supposed to be monitored by doctors, but at this point right now, between me and you, I don't trust the doctors. I don't trust the doctors, just like I don't trust the government, but that's another issue. That's something else. That's another issue. So anyway, let's get back to it. All things are possible. How so? It's a little quote by Guillermo Apollinaire. Says, "Come to the edge," he said. They said, "We are afraid." He said again, "Come to the edge," he said. They came. He pushed them, and then they flew. What did you get out of that? What can you get out of that little whatever little poem that they wrote there before the story? Here's the good news. You're special. Don't we know this? For a long time, we tend to, or I tend to, I'm going to direct it to me. I tend to beat myself up and think that something's wrong with me because I'm going through anxiety, or I'm going through depression, or I just don't think as positive as someone else. For a long time, I would put those labels on myself. You're special. Just know this. I always knew I was special. I just didn't know in what form I was special. If you are someone who experiences more than the average amount of anxiety, you are full of potential for greatness. Someone ever told you that? That you are full of potential for greatness? No one has ever told me that I was full of potential for greatness. Let me be the first. Why not? Why haven't they told you? Because you probably have above average intelligence, which I know this for a fact, for those who suffer with anxiety, suffer with a depression and schizophrenia, mental illness, whatever it may be that they have labeled you with, you have above intelligence. Okay, Islam, mi amor, ¿cómo está? Welcome. You have above intelligence, above average intelligence. That's why we are so highly creative with fabulous imaginations. You are detail oriented and analytical. That's why we analyze everything we do. Haven't you noticed yourself analyzing every time something comes across you? You analyze how you're going to get it done, how you're going to take care of it, what would you do? There's like a billion questions that pop up in your head when something arises in your life. Am I not right? These are wonderful traits that can make you extremely successful and enable you to accomplish great things. And you would say, how so? Unfortunately, people with anxiety disorders tend to use their attributes to scare themselves because this is what we were taught. This is what we were programmed. We were programmed that this is a bad thing. Having anxiety, having racing thoughts, depression, it's stigma. It's been stigmatized to thinking that that is something bad that we should not go through. So we tend to beat ourselves up. I tend to beat myself up about it because for a long time it was not acceptable. They over intellectualize, over analyze, and they use their creativity to envision the worst possible scenarios. Hi, Rosa. Welcome, baby. I know, baby. I know. We're talking about techniques on how to shift your mind when you have anxiety, depression, or anyone in your family, or is it anyone in your family that's going through it? Is it yourself that's going through it? Everything is possible. We're talking about what techniques to take or to adopt and adapt to our lives to get that shift going in our heads. Because for a long time, I tend to label myself that my anxiety was keeping me from becoming successful. My anxiety was keeping me from taking the leap of faith because I was always fear. My fear was always fear of failing. How many of us don't do something that know that is our passion and know that it makes us happy, but we're too afraid to take that leap of faith because we're scared of failing? Can I tell you a secret? In the failing is how you become successful. Because we don't have someone that's guiding us, leading us, and teaching us step by step what it is we need to take, sometimes in cases, we need to trip and we need to fall so that we can learn. How many times did we fall when we were learning how to ride a bike? Till this day, I still don't know how to roller skate because of why fear of failing, because I tried it one time on one foot and I was going and I totally slipped up the other foot and wapata, I landed in my butt and it hurt. It hurt so bad that I said I prevented myself from learning because I was too afraid. And this happens on a day-to-day basis with a lot of people. They are afraid of taking the leap of faith because their anxiety takes over them and they don't know what to do with it. Well, here it is. Their creativity envisions the worst possible scenarios. Used in a negative way, our wonderful traits can make us sick. Isn't that truth? Sometimes we can get ourselves sick, literally sick, because we don't want to do something or just to get ourselves in our mind. We're like, no, I don't want to do that because I don't know how to do that. I don't want to hacerme el papel de ridículo. I don't want to look ridiculous up there, or I don't want to look ridiculous. Just like in school, how many of us, knowing the answer, never raised our hand because we thought we doubt ourselves, thinking that it was the wrong answer? We don't want to look ridiculous. That's addiction of approval. Let's pretend for a moment that you can turn all of this anxious energy around and make it work for you instead of against you. Let's pretend that this anxiety, depression, whatever it is you got going on with you that prevents you from taking the leap of faith, let's pretend that this is going to be working for us. Can you imagine how different your life might be? Ask yourself where you might be right now if anxiety and fear weren't holding you back. Mickey, ¿cómo estás, mi amor? Ask yourself, pregúntate tú mismo, ¿dónde tú estarías ahora mismo, hoy en día, hoy, si la depresión y la negatividad no se te apodera? Vamos a hacernos esa pregunta, porque a veces tenemos miedo de lanzar a hacer algo que sabemos que nos hace feliz, sabemos que es para nosotros, que nos va a hacer bien, pero we're too afraid because, vamos a fallar, or they're going to make fun of us, or we will never hear the end of it, right? What if we can use that negativity and turn it around to something positive? What if we could just delete that button out of the programming that's in our brain and go ahead with that thought and that process, that feeling? Today, I was learning about intuition. Intuition, which I called my inner voice. Sometimes we don't even listen to that inner voice. We don't even listen to the gut feeling. Why? Because we sometimes confuse it with something else. Sometimes we confuse the gut feeling with something else, and then we get our hearts going. And then cuando la conciencia y el corazón te dice algo, how did you deal with that? Saludos, mi amor. How did you deal with that? Right? So, if anything were possible, what would you do differently if you weren't afraid to fail or to succeed? If you weren't afraid of anxious feelings or being alone? What would you do? Hi, Barbara. How you doing, my love? What would you do different if the anxiety would not be part of us? What would you do different if negativity will never rule us? What if we could delete that button and start to walk in the person that we were meant to be? Because you see, all things are possible who believe in God. Who believe in God. All things are possible who believe in God. But sometimes, because I'm including myself, sometimes we have that doubt. We have that doubt. There's a little voice inside of us that said, you know you can't do it. You know you're gonna fail, right? No one is just like when I do my lives, right? I sometimes think, well, what if no one listens to me? What if no one comes? What if that what if is what sometimes kills us. It destroys us. It destroys our confidence. It destroys our self-esteem, and it destroys the vision that we have to to walk what we want to do. Am I right? What if we weren't afraid to take chances, to get involved, or even to embarrass yourself a little? That's the thing. Because we don't like to be embarrassed, we have labeled that as something um bad, because being embarrassed always gave us this weird feeling. But can I tell you that's just being just like a childlike? Your whole life might be different. You might be living somewhere else or working somewhere else. Isn't that the truth? Possibly you would have different relationships, or maybe you would be right where you are, but you'd be enjoying it in a whole different level. Mi amor, Madeline Nazario, what's going on, prima? You will be enjoying it in a whole different level. And can I tell you, it's not too late. It's not too late for us to have that delete button and create our own lives and create what makes us happy. Sometimes it's hard for people to answer the question, who are you? What do you want out of life? What do you want to be? What would you have loved to be? So we have to go back when we were 9 years old, 10 years old, maybe 8 years old. It depends. It depends on when you started dreaming. Who told us that we had to stop dreaming? Where did that come from? Sometimes we don't take the root of the problem, and we just take care of the surface problem and not take care of the root of the problem. And then we tend to do the same thing over time, because the consistency is key. Consistency is key. I want you, before you go to bed, to ask yourself these questions. Who would I become if I no longer let negativity take a hold of my life? Who would I become if I no longer am afraid to take a leap of faith? Who would I become if I no longer have those blockages in front of me and I can do my task and whatever it is I have for myself 100%? Who would I become if I show up 100% to everything I do? This all follows energy. Energy is constantly energy is constantly flowing. So who will we become if we can have the energy in opening our hands to receive? Because in the Bible, it is said, when you ask, you receive, but you have to be open to receive it. Ask and it is done. Because it says you have not because you ask not. So we must ask, what is it that he wants us to do? What is his will for us? Because he already knows what you want. He's just waiting for you to tell him about it. Ask him about it. That's it. When I come here with the intention of spreading the word, saying something positive, to lift you up, inspire you, elevate you, and motivate you. Those are my intentions when I come to my calls. When I come to my calls, my intentions are full through and through, to elevate you, to get you to think differently, to inspire you to do better, and to motivate you that you can and you will be able to do it. Because the secret is in the feeling. If you feel that you're if you're feeling good when you doing something, or when you're thinking about doing something, that's an indication that it's the thing to do. It's the right thing to do. Now, when a lot of just obstacles starts happening and you just can't get it through to the way you want it, that's an indication that the Lord doesn't want you to do it that way. So, and this is the secret. The secret is listening to yourself, listening to your intuition. Because when you're quiet and you quiet yourself enough, that is when the Holy Spirit comes and he will speak to you, which means that God will come and speak to you. For a long time, I had to sit quietly and ask for guidance on what it is he wanted me to do. Because I can remember for a long time, I kept going to work and I was miserable. Not because of what I was doing, because when I do something, I do it 100%. I have no problem whatsoever in doing so. But the fact that I wasn't being uh validated, like everything I did, I would do it to the best of my knowledge and I would do it perfectly, but it was never good enough. I would never be noticed. I was there 4 years. 4 years I tried to move up in the company and they kept bringing me down. And this was their excuse. They didn't have anyone to run my slot. Isn't that a poor excuse? Is that a poor excuse? So if no one, if I wasn't being validated or appreciated, then I said, you know what, it's the time is to go. And what blew me off was when he wanted to write me up, because I there were some tasks that didn't even belong to me, and he wanted to pin it on me. That was the worst. But I'm not gonna get there because it'll bring down my frequency, and I don't want that. We're here in peace and in celebration because we are all taking, in some way or another, we are all taking a leap of faith. And I want to congratulate you. I want to say I'm proud of you. I love you. And keep on keeping on, because you are making the world a better place. Thank you. I truly appreciate that, because we can't do this alone. We need each other to make the world a better place. Thank you. And I'm going to leave you like I always leave you. If you believe, you can achieve. Yes, you will. And you will too. If you believe it, you can achieve it. So all I want to ask you is for some prayers. Please pray for me. The transition is going not quite as I expected. I expected it to be a lot worse, believe it or not. And it's really not. It's something I can handle. So thank you, thank you, thank you for keeping me in your prayers. I'm sending me some light and sending me good vibes, good energy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good night, y'all. I love you all, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Make a world a better place. Good night. Good night, YouTube.